Hi, I'm Bethany with Craft with Bethany, and you're in my car. I am on my way to my monthly sewing club. We meet once a month on a Saturday, and every time I talk about it on my Instagram, I have so many people that message me and go, I want all the details. I want to start a sewing club in my area. I wish I could come to yours in Nashville. And by the way, if you're in Nashville or Middle Tennessee, we welcome you to come join us. We're the Music City Stitchers Club. You can find our Facebook group and request to join. And we share all of the upcoming events going on in that Facebook group. Or just send me a DM over on Instagram and I can connect you with the information there as well if you're not on Facebook. We do have people that travel in as far as Southern Kentucky and Northern Alabama on a regular basis for our club meetup because we have a lot of fun and we don't make it so formal. I think that's one of the things that people think they need to do when they start a sewing club is that they've got to teach something every time and they've got to provide some sort of educational thing because that's kind of the typical quilt guilds. But that's not what I wanted to do. It's not what I wanted to set out to create, and I wasn't sure if people would like it or not, but it's been proven to be pretty great. So in this video, I'm going to share with you everything I've learned over the last over a year and a half that we've been doing the sewing club. What's worked for us in our experiences may not work for you, but it can at least get you pointed in the right direction to start creating your own sewing club. Now I'm going to share as much as I can while I'm sitting in line at my favorite coffee shop because I always get coffee this is my little treat to start the day before sewing club. Let me show you my favorite coffee shop. This little place right here is called Elevate Coffee in Hermitage, Tennessee. And it is the best coffee and the sweetest people. Okay, so there are 2 cars in front of me, so I'm going to try to get out as much as I can. And then I'm going to show you some behind the scene footage of our sewing club today. I think we're going to have around 12 people today, which is a pretty good size group for us. We normally kind of average somewhere between 6 to 8 because, people have things going on. And so it's really a casual pop-in kind of thing. So let me start at the beginning. I said I wanted to have a sewing club and I wanted to do it on a Saturday because I work full-time. A lot of people work full-time and most quilt guilds and stuff meet during the week when I'm not available. So I thought, let me start a sewing club, and it's not just for quilters. It's for all types of sewists. We've even had people that crochet come and sit and crochet with us. So we welcome all types of crafts. You can work on whatever you want. As long as you just want to be around other supportive, creative people, that's really it. We don't teach anything. We don't have anything specifically planned, but there's an exception to that. And we don't, do anything required. There's no membership dues or anything like that. You only pay when you come to club. And so that's kind of it. So let me kind of tell you, I put this out there on my social media saying I really wanted to start a sewing club in Nashville and I needed to find someone that could kind of help me get it started. And I put it out, what was that? Summer of 2023. And a girl that follows me that I didn't know before then, her name's Jennifer, and she reached out to me and she said, Bethany, I've been following you for a long time. I'm in Nashville and I would love to help you get this started. I would love to find a sewing club. And if you started a sewing club, I would show up every time. And I was like, well, that's really sweet. She goes, I'm a teacher, so I'm off for the summer. So please let me know what I can do to help. And I said, that's amazing because this is going to take some investigating and legwork to get this started. So I set her off with the task of finding us a location that we could host, a sewing club. And I put some feelers out there and I had people kind of sign up and let me know if they were interested, kind of like a waiting list for me to get it started. So I could kind of ballpark, I need space for 10 people, 20 people, 30 people. I needed to know what I was looking for. So she started calling around. Some of the places she reached out to were community centers, libraries, churches, schools, and also believe it or not, nursing home facilities and things like that, because they typically will have a big game room or other places like that inside. And we're talking about some of the bigger facilities, right? And there's some pretty big ones here in Nashville. We went and visited several places together. And that's when I first met Jennifer, and she's a sweetheart. And we went to a church that had a huge space, but they were going to charge us a lot of money because, one, we weren't members of that church, and two, they were going to have someone come in and set up the tables and chairs and then take down the tables and chairs and clean and all that stuff. And we're like, well, we really don't mind doing that. And they're like, oh, it's in another part of the building. It was like this whole thing. And it was going to be like $300 every month. And I was like, well, I need to know that I could cover that expense every month, So that's, we would need quite a few people to attend on a monthly basis. That might be too much. So we kind of had to play around and feel it out. Then we came across a nursing home. It's not really a nursing home. It's like a elevated independent living facility. So they have apartments, but if they need any assistance, they're there and they have all their meals. It's like a big apartment assisted living space. And they said, hey, we've got this card room. It's got like a little mini kitchen in it, and you're welcome to use it for your space. Got our coffees. Okay, so now that I've got our coffees in hand, I am on my way to club. So I've got about a 30-minute drive to get into Nashville. And when I get there, I'll show you what the building looks like just from the outside. And then I'm going to unload everything, take everything up to our space that we use in this facility. And then I'll show you how Jennifer and I get it set up. But I'm not going to film and drive. So. I'm back. I'm at Sewing Club, and this is Jennifer, my right hand. And honestly, this Sewing Club would not have been possible had it not been for Jennifer. So I kind of mentioned earlier while I was in the coffee shop line that Jennifer reached out to me when I put a thing out there on Instagram saying I want to start a sewing club in Nashville. And she said, I'll help you. I'm off for the summer from teaching, and I can help you find a place. So you did kind of the legwork on finding the place. So maybe you can share on, because I said like, we reached out to churches, libraries, community centers. What made you think to reach out to this place?
I guess I just kind of thought about reaching out to them because they host a lot of community events and they're about community. And then honestly, just when I called like churches and libraries, they would recommend like, hey, have you tried such and such place in town? And I just kind of told them, like, I had to, of course, give them a little bit of a background on what I was looking for, the space, and then what it was about. And so just, talking to them, they were able to help me with that and then recommend other places to try and call. If that wasn't the right fit. Yeah, if that wasn't the right fit.
So she reached out to this place. We're outside, by the way. They have the most beautiful like patio, and we didn't want to disrupt their workout class that they're having. So we decided to come outside. So if you hear some wind noise, I apologize. But it's gorgeous. It's so hard to believe it's February 8th and we're sitting outside in a t-shirt. But anyway, so we ended up here and we kind of made an agreement with them. And so because we really don't pay for the space itself, they were willing to let us use it in exchange for always having an open door policy with the residents. So the residents are welcome to come into the space. If they have their own sewing machines or crafts that they want to work on, they can come in and sit with us. They can come in and see what we're doing and ask questions. It is a shared space. It's a card room. There's no doors, so they can come in and go as they want. And we welcome that. They love to come in and show us things that they've made. Most of them don't have machines anymore or not able to bring their machines down to the space. But we've had a couple, and then we had one lady that said, can you just show me how to thread my machine? And we did sit with her and her brother machine and helped her. So we welcome them in. And then the other side of it is, because we are here, we see the staff every month. They are all so kind and so helpful and so generous to let us use the space that in exchange, we are a referral system for them. So if anybody we know is looking for a place like this, we know like, hey, we've had great experiences here from this point of view, and we recommend that you check it out. So I think it's good for them. And then we share about it.
And then also like when you I guess when you're getting this started, it's really important to make an appointment face to face, I feel like, and then just kind of whoever's in charge, the place that we're at is the activity director, and
Build that rapport.
yeah, build that relationship and just kind of let them know like what we're looking for, and then just really stress that it's all about community, and they're really about that too. So yeah, it's important to have that relationship because I mean, you communicate with them all the time. So what your needs and what we can do for them, you know, especially like Christmas, we made them.
Yeah. So what was it? This last year or the year before? The first year that we were here for Christmas, we decided to make Christmas tree ornaments for every resident and staff, and we made 170?
Yeah, 170.
I mean, but we started on it in like October.
Yes.
And so every month we would work on them, and we would work on them for a couple hours and then sew whatever we wanted to the rest of the day. And everybody brought in like extra batting clips, like snips and Christmas fabrics and ribbons and buttons.
Yes.
And we just like as a team collectively made all of these and were able to give them out. And that was like our little give back. So if you're in a space like this and you're getting a great deal on your space, we encourage you to maybe think of doing something like that. I mean, we had a lot of, some sort of give back that you can do, even if it's not making something for everybody, making something that we could have done like a decoration that went across their mantle. When you saw me walk in, there was a fireplace, and they always decorate really nicely. So we could have made some decorations for them for that if we wanted to do something different. So we didn't have to do so much, but we kind of did the big project.
We did,
but it was fun. It was great.
It was fun.
I think everybody enjoyed doing it, and I know the residents and staff really appreciated it. And I think, like Jennifer said, meeting in person, we have their cell phone number. We give them, I think the other important thing is we book our dates like 6 months in advance. So Jennifer and I look at our calendars, and between our calendars, we kind of pick a Saturday that works for the both of us, because even if something happens, we know at least one of us will be here. And then we book those dates out in advance. So like it's February, we've already got our dates through August. And so we just let them know when we're going to be coming and our dates, and if anything changes or if we're not going to come. I think there's been twice where we had like weather related things where it like got really snowy and icy and we couldn't come one time. So we had to cancel the club meetup.
Or I broke my back.
Or you fell and hurt your back. And there was that time too. But for the most part, it always goes. I think we always come.
Important to have like one other person.
You need a partner to kind of co-run this, because there's a lot that goes into it. And it's a lot for one person to manage. So you need to find yourself a Jennifer
or a Bethany.
And on someone who understands the vision of what you're trying to start in your community. And, you know, I kind of mentioned before, like, we're not like a traditional guild. We don't teach anything specific. We don't have any speakers come. We don't do anything really organized other than showing up. We wanted to keep it casual. We wanted it to be a place where no matter what type of sewing you did, whether it's quilting, bag making, garment making, crocheting, it doesn't even outside of sewing. I mean, it doesn't matter. You have a group of like-minded people who enjoy those types of things, and you can learn from one another.
Yeah, because that's the best part, is that we all share ideas and inspire one another to do different things. I mean, I was never a garment sewer, and this one right here I've made.
And now he's doing foundation paper piecing and quilting because of you. So, I mean, we really have like rubbed off on each other in all the best ways, and that's across the whole group. Like we've all done it. Several of you got sergers, and then you all brought them in at the same time. And so for like the I showed you guys how to like thread it and troubleshoot it and adjust tensions and everything so that you were set up for success. And then obviously you can always answer those questions. So we do help each other. It's just nothing like formal. So like, I think that day that you guys were bringing in your sergers, I put it in the group chat, like, hey, if anybody else has a serger and wants help, like this would be a good weekend to bring it, because I'm going to help them. I might as well help everybody. So there's some of that. There's been a couple times where I think like for Christmas in December, I brought in fabric scraps and ornaments, and if you wanted to Mod Podge fabric onto an ornament and decorate it for fun for a Christmas ornament, like an optional craft, if you wanted to do it, you could. Some people did, some people weren't interested in it, and that's totally fine, but that's literally the most organized thing we do. Really,
we've done a field trip.
Oh, we did do a field trip. I forgot about that. So we did one time. It was outside of our traditional. We still had our monthly meetup, but then we added another meetup because one of our local sewing fabric shops, quilt shops, was opened on that Saturday, like after club weekend. And so we put a message out there, like anybody who wanted to do a little field trip to go fabric shopping and get lunch.
Yeah.
And we did that. So anybody who wanted to come could come, and we all went shopping together. But that was outside of our usual meetup. We still had our regular meetup, but yeah, we try to do all sorts of fun things. We try to share tips. It's just great. Now, when it comes to what we provide, so we do provide 2 ironing stations in the space. We do provide 2 cutting stations in the space. I bring rulers and cutting tools for everybody to use: fabric scissors, paper scissors, rotary cutters, pinking shears. I bring that every time and for everybody to share. And I bring an iron and ironing board. She brings an iron board, and then we each bring a cutting mat. So we definitely divide and conquer on that stuff. And then we also bring snacks. We don't bring a lot, but we chips and dip and some cookies and that kind of thing. No, we don't really bring drinks. Everybody kind of brings their own drinks. Like I said, in our space that we're using, there is a fridge. So some people will pack a lunch or bring some drinks and stick them in the fridge. There's a little microwave for us to use, but we just kind of set some stuff out on the counter, and some people will bring a snack to share sometimes. But yeah, so that's kind of, unless there's like a big birthday or something we're celebrating and we do cupcakes or something, we really, that's kind of all we do. But we also bring power strips and power towers. So she brings the long power strips, and then I bring the power towers that sit up on the tables for everybody to plug their machines and stuff into. And you get here before me every time. Even when I think, I'm going to get there early and help her set up the tables. And I'm like, how are you already here and done setting up tables and chairs? But she lives a little closer than I do. But she sets up all the tables and chairs, based on like the number, like RSVPs we got. So we try to get an idea of head count. So we try to have it set up so once everybody starts rolling in, everything, they just come in, set up their stuff, and can start sewing. Our hours for our club are from 10 to 4. And that may sound like a long time, but we set it up that way because there's people that can't come in the mornings because their kids have sports, or there's people that can come in the morning but can't come in the afternoon. And so because we have a longer 10 to 4 day, it breaks it up where if you could only come for a few hours, it's still worth the trip to come. But then there's a lot of people that come from 10 to 4 besides us. We're there the whole time. But we have quite a few people that literally are there right at 10 or before and stay till 4. And then those that stay till 4 usually help us tear down and everything and clean up. And we always leave the space better than we found it, typically, and clean up everything and take out our trash, make sure the fridge is clean and all of that stuff. So we put all the tables, chairs back. And we always sign in and sign out at the front desk and try to be very respectful of the residents and the staff. And because of that, they've always been very nice and helpful and very understanding of us using their space. And 18 months of doing this, and we've never had a complaint?
No, never.
Never. So I think the big thing is just being really respectful, and everybody that attends. I mean, sewists are pretty harmless. We're pretty harmless, but we also, have met some amazing sewists that are residents here that don't really get to sew anymore, but some of them have been sewing their entire lives. Who was that one lady? What's her name? Betty?
I was going to say Betty.
And she's 100.
Yes.
She's probably 101 by now, since we first met her when we first started. And she
was in a magazine.
She's in magazines for her quilting, and she does like hand quilting too. Like,
I think she was a
stuff.
quilt maker or quilt folk, I think.
She's been interviewed for so many different things here, and she is as sharp as a whip.
She is.
She is so smart.
She's very smart.
And she still sews, but she does all hand sewing in her room. So she doesn't really venture down to our space, but we got to meet her, and she's really cool. So what else do we need to share? I mean, okay, so we do charge for our event. I should just tell you guys that. So even though we have the space for free, I mentioned a lot of things that we bring every month. So our irons, our cutting mats, our cutting tools, our rulers and snacks and all of that, and the power towers, like that's all stuff that we've invested in, plus the extra goodies we usually do from time to time. And so to help cover that cost and replace any of our materials for wear and tear over the time period. We do charge $10 for every time you come. So there's no like membership dues that you have to pay even if you don't come. We don't set it up like a traditional guild. We just say whenever you do come, if you could just pay $10, and we do cash, PayPal, or Venmo. And we've never had any complaints of that. And it literally just goes into a pot so that we continue to do what we're doing and just cover our expenses.
Yep.
That's really it. We're not making money off of it. It's really just to cover our expenses. And anything left over, like we can put towards like our give back project or some little craft that we want to bring in and do together. Like when we first started the club, we made those, got the spoonflower fabric that looks like a name tag, and we hand stitched our names on it for name tags.
Yep.
So that was a fun one. So I mean, there's been some little things that we've brought in from time to time, and we kind of use that pot to pay for those things. But other than that, like that's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it.
I think the key thing is you need to have an objective and a mission of like why you're doing this and the purpose, and just stick to that. Some people want something that's more formal. I've had people say, well, I'll only come if you're teaching a class. And I kindly say, well, I appreciate that you want to come take a class from me, and I love to teach classes. This is my time to give back to myself. So selfishly, like I love helping everybody that's here, and I absolutely do. But this is my time to kind of enjoy sewing for me with my friends that also like to sew.
Yeah.
And so I try not to make any commitment to teaching anything, because I kind of need a break too, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think also like it's going to ebb and flow as far as people coming. So just kind of stick with it.
We've had, when we first started, I think we had like 14 people show up. And it kind of ebbs and flows, like you said. Like we've had as little as like 5 or 6 people.
Yep.
We kind of average around 8 or so.
Yeah.
But today we have like 12 or 13 coming. So it really kind of varies, different seasons. We've gotten some new people. One of the questions I got is, how do we get people to know about our club? And I think the key thing is just social media. I posted on my Instagram. I talk about it every time I come. And then we have a Facebook group. So like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, if you are in Nashville, Middle Tennessee area, Southern Kentucky, or Northern Alabama, and you want to come to our club meetup, we invite you to join our Facebook group, the Music City Stitchers Club. So just go request it and I'll accept your request. And you'll get all the information about upcoming club meetups and ask any questions, and all that information is in there. Posting on social media is a big thing. The other thing is there's a lot of quilting groups on Facebook. So sharing it in the groups that allow you to share that information. We've had several people that are in those groups that I wasn't in, that are members of our club, that come, and someone would say, hey, I'm looking for a sewing group in Tennessee. And so they'll post about it. And then I'm like, oh yeah, so that's really how we've learned about so many other sewists and really have grown. I mean, we have a new sewist that joined us today, and she drove down from Bowling Green, Kentucky. That's Emily in there.
Oh my goodness.
She just got here.
Okay.
So Emily is new, Whitney. And what's really cool is like once they start coming, they start coming every month. Have you noticed that?
Yep. And then maybe bringing friends too.
And then they're bringing friends.
Yep.
So, I mean, we have people as young as their early 20s.
Yes.
And then we have like my mom's with us today. I'm not going to give her away her age, but because she'll kill me for it. But I mean, you know, we have people that span 50-year age range, and that has never been an issue. We all have fun together. We're all sewing.
Yep.
And it's funny because some of us will finish an entire project during sewing club, and some of us bring the same project every month to work on. And it's just kind of like fun to see like, hey, what have you been working on? Oh, the same thing. Yeah, I haven't touched it since last month. It's just my club project. And like, I love that, you know, like you do a lot of foundation paper piecing at club.
I do.
Because it's easy to bring.
Yes.
And it's quick and fun.
It's quick and fun.
I bring like 4 different projects, and whatever my mood is what I end up working on. So I think that kind of covers it. I mean, if you guys have any questions, you're welcome to leave them in the comments and I'll answer them. And if I don't know the answer, I'm sure Jennifer will, and I'll ask her to answer them. But I hope this gives you some information, some encouragement. Honestly, I just put it out there on social media. I put it on Facebook and Instagram, and I said, I'm wanting to start a sewing club. This is what I need. I think after the pandemic, I just needed a sense of connection and community. And yeah, at the time when I started this, I worked for Singer and I worked with sewists, but that was my job. You know, that was for work. I wanted the fun side of it, and I needed that connection, and I wanted to make friends in Nashville that love what I do. And so this has really been the best.
Yeah. It has.
I know. We've had
It's
so
been
much
fun.
fun. All right. So I'm going to sign off so we can go back and get to sewing, but I'll show you some video footage from the day here at the end of the video. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it. I hope it inspires you. I hope you make it a priority to either find a club in your community that works for what you want to get out of it, or start one yourself if you feel up to it, and definitely start it by finding a friend. I mean, Jennifer and I met for the first time when we went to look at one of the places we were considering, and it was great. So, you know, you just got to find that person that gets your vision and says, "Hey, I'm here to help. I want this too." And I think it was just truly a God thing that we found each other, and we've been besties ever since. And yeah, so all right, guys. Well, enjoy this footage of our club day, and we're gonna go have some fun.
Right, Jennifer?
Jennifer, what?
Wow.
Does she know him?
No. Like, she turned into...
Always finishes.
It's
not
not
what she
very
writes.
Yes, she does.
That's so quick.
Never
That's right.
make
It's
a
a
whole-
t-shirt. It's the most challenging thing I think I've inspiring. Like that.
Yes. That's good. I think it's feeling a lot of
Okay, so sewing club is over, and this time always flies by. We have so much fun. I finished 2 projects, a bow that I needed to make for work as a practice project, and then another Quilt As You Go zipper pouch that are so much fun. And I have a little road brownie to take on the road with me. And now I'm gonna drive home. Of course, it's starting to rain. So we just got everything loaded up and cleaned up. I didn't film any of that because it's usually kind of chaos, but I'm sweating. I don't know if you can tell, like my makeup is like sweating off because there was no AC in the building today, which has never happened before. Most of the residents don't seem to really mind, but when you're in there with like 12 women and like 6 different irons and all these machines going, it got really steamy, and that's never happened before, but hopefully they'll get it fixed before next month. But we had so much fun. My mom had a blast coming today. I walked her out because she left a little earlier, and the first thing she said was, "That was so much fun." And she's in other quilt guilds and stuff, but she's like, it was just so fun to be around like so many different types of people with so many different types of experience levels and different things that they were working on, and the talent that was in the room, and just seeing what everybody else was working on was really fun for her. And she said it really made her excited about sewing because just being around like so many younger people that were excited about sewing, she just fit right in with the rest of us, and she just was like had the best time. And I think she kind of wishes she probably had come sooner than she has now, but I'm glad she finally experienced it and kind of gets why I love going so much. And she just was like, everybody was so friendly and nobody was like showing off or anything like that. And I think that's kind of some of the experiences she's had in her own like, group sewing things before. So she didn't really know what to expect other than what she's experienced before, and that hasn't always, been positive. And so for her to come and have such a positive experience, I think it was exciting for her. And now that she's come and done that, and we sat and sewed together, I have to tell you, it was the first time my mom and I have sat side by side and sewed together ever. She taught me some things growing up a little bit, like I'd watch her, then I'd do something, but we were both sitting side by side with our machines, sewing on our own projects, helping each other out. And it's the first time we've ever done that. And I don't know why we haven't done it before, but it was just really fun to do that. And it makes me want to do more of that with her, even on our own, because it's just memories I will forever cherish. And so anyways, not to get too mushy, but I had a blast today, and I can't wait till the next one in March, and then the next one, and the next one, and the next one. It's just always so much fun. It was just what I needed after a really long work week. And so now I'm going to drive home, unload all my stuff, and hang out with my family, my pups. But I hope you enjoyed this little behind the scenes on what goes into our sewing club. And even if this isn't the kind of sewing club you want to create, I hope it gives you some pointers on how to get started with creating a sewing club that you want to build in your community. And I really encourage you to do that because it's just really fun. I helped a girl today try free motion sewing for the first time and set up her machine for that. And I gave her some scrap fabric and made a little quilt sandwich for her, and just so she could practice before she tried to do it on her project. And she had so much fun just learning and practicing. And that's just what this whole thing is all about. It's just sharing and our experiences with each other. So, and we're always, all myself included, learning from each other. And that's the best part. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you around for the next video.